Hello, my loves. Welcome into this video for the new moon in Scorpio solar eclipse. I'm so excited to get started here on this journey. First things first, if you are new, hi, welcome in. It's nice to see you. It's nice to have you here. I do have a tutorial video, how to get the most out of these readings with my tips and tricks and how to engage with this material and your spiritual support team as we receive this guidance. You can watch that video if you feel called, if it feels supportive. It's not necessary, but it is there for you if it feels good to you. For those who are not new, hello, y'all. How are you? It's good to have you back here. Thank you so much for being here. As you hopefully already know, it is a pleasure to be offering this service to you, this guidance, this self-understanding through astrology, this connecting with our spiritual support team, our inner knowing through the spiritual sacred tools of the cards. And it's an honor and a joy, and I am so lit up by this Scorpio solar eclipse, and I'm excited to jump in and talk about it. So first, let's talk about new moon energy. New moons always represent for us new beginnings. New cycles are starting. The cycle that's starting is always under the theme of the sign that it's in, and it relates to the house that this energy is happening for us. We'll get more in depth with that house energies in just a moment. So the energy that this new moon is happening in is in the sign of Scorpio. So Scorpio is a fixed sign, which means that it is an unchanging energy. It's also a water sign, which represents the emotional realm. So essentially, the Scorpion energy is fixed water, unchanging emotions. That's this energy of the Scorpion archetype. Now, the Scorpion is the totem of the Scorpio energy, and it represents this deep dive into deep knowledge, into deep knowing, that relentless search for truth, diving deep into the core of who we are, why we're here, and really understanding that on a deep, deep level. The Scorpion energy also has this energy of flying high, like an eagle or like a phoenix, because it has this transformative nature. The Scorpio season happens during All Hallows Eve, which is when the veil is the thinnest between our world and the other side, and it represents this death and rebirth energy. So if you didn't watch the readings for the solar season in Scorpio, where we dive into where Scorpio is occurring in your own chart and you learn more about how to embody that energy and we get guidance from our support team, I recommend you check out that video after these videos if that feels good and right to you. Now, let's talk about eclipse energy. So the normal lunar phase, lunar cycle is 28 days. From one new moon to another, or one full moon to the next. Eclipse energies last us for 6 months. So this is a new beginning that we're going to see unfold and experience unfolding over the course of 6 months. This eclipse is referencing the lunar eclipse when the moon was full in Scorpio 6 months earlier on May 16th. So this energy here is a culmination of 6 months prior. I did a reading for that eclipse, and I will be reviewing the information that came through from that reading at the end of the videos. So this cycle is going to go from October 25th, which is when this eclipse happens, at 6:49 in the morning, that's Eastern time. And this energy, like I said, is going to be potent for 6 months. So it's going to last until May 5th, 23, which is going to be another lunar eclipse in Scorpio. More time to focus on this energy and utilize these powerful eclipse portals to move us forward in our personal goals and in our collective goals. Now, before we dive deep into this energy, into this information that's coming through here, I want to take a moment to talk about a cycle that's much, much larger that I haven't really talked about before this moment. So we are in a cycle called the Great Year. And some of you may have heard of this through the age of Aquarius. We're moving out of the age of Pisces and we're moving into the age of Aquarius. The Great Year actually goes backwards in the zodiac. So the energy of Aquarius is humanitarian focused. So overarching all of the work that we're doing right now is this energy of supporting humanity, supporting the collective, becoming a united, collaborative species. That's the overall theme of all of this energy and all of this work that we are doing on individual levels. It's permeating out into the collective. So this Scorpio new moon solar eclipse wanted me to connect with you and show you the power of prayer. So it doesn't matter what your spiritual beliefs are. You could call this an affirmation. You could call this an intention. You could call this a prayer, a meditation. The word that you use to describe what we're going to do here in just a moment is up to you to determine. And you can work with your spiritual support team in ways that feel good and right for you. But what I was receiving was that this powerful solar eclipse is a moment for us to make a wish, to start something new. And I'm inviting all of us watching these videos to take a moment and to set aside our personal goals, our personal life, whatever's going on an individual basis, and set a prayer, set an intention for humanity with this solar eclipse. My prayer, my intention is that our entire human family wake up to the truth of our collaborative, loving, and selfless natures. This is actually something that I've been learning about scientifically. It is proven, and there is an explanation for why we as a species have been so angry, alienated, competitive, and egocentric, despite our natural desires to be cooperative, to be loving, and to act in service of the whole. So this is my intention and my prayer. I'm going to read what's called the Ho'oponopono prayer. And I invite you to say this prayer with me and hold this intention for our human collective. Again, holding the intention that we all wake up to the truth within us, to our own natures of being collaborative, cooperative, and loving towards our human family as a whole. Here's the prayer. Father, mother, child, as one, if I, my family, relatives, and ancestors have offended you, your family, your relatives, and ancestors, in thoughts, words, deeds, and actions, from the beginning of creation to the present, we ask your forgiveness. Let's cleanse, purify, release, cut all the negative memories, blocks, energies, and vibrations. Let's transmute these unwanted energies into pure light. And it is said, it is done, and set free. Thank you all for joining me in this collective intention and prayer. I don't normally do this in my videos, but I was really guided to do this. Another reason I think I'm guided to do this is because, as I mentioned, the Scorpio energy is the thinning of the veil. This is the time for us to connect to our ancestors, the ones who did all of this work to get us where we are so that we could wake up to the beautiful freedom and truth of what it is to be a human living in cooperation with other humans on this earth. This is what the age of Aquarius promises us. And each phase that we go through is helping us to move closer and closer to this reality, bringing it into form. So back to the readings. How do you know which reading is for you? Well, you are going to have two readings. You're going to first watch the interpretation for where the moon was when you were born. So if you don't know your birth chart information, this is the time for you to watch my tutorial video on how to find your birth chart information on astro.com. You go to that site, enter in your birth data. If you don't know your birth time, please don't stop there. I have a tutorial video linked in that video that'll tell you how to find your birth time so that you can access this all-powerful information of the vibration that was in play the moment you took your first breath in this life. So you're going to watch the interpretation for where the moon was when you were born, and you're also going to check in to see what house this current eclipse is happening for you. So how do you find that out? I'll explain that in the video, so if you don't know, watch that video too. But you're going to look for where Scorpio, symbolized by the M with the little pointy tail, occurs at 2 degrees exactly in 2 degrees, okay? And whatever house that's in, you're going to also watch the video for the house reading. Now, of course, you can skip through the introduction once you've watched it once, and you can skip through where it says house interpretation. Watch the card reading and then scroll ahead. Okay, I do timestamps on these videos to help you guys scroll through the information that you don't need or that is repeat, and help you to get the most out of this information and not waste any of your time. Okay? If after watching the tutorial video you have questions on how to find this information and what video is right for you, please feel free to reach out. So if you feel called to support me for this information, for this guidance, for the way that it supports you, you can do that in so many ways. You can like, you can comment, you can engage with this material, which helps get me out to more people. You can share this with anyone you think would find it interesting and valuable. And of course, you can support me in my services. I have a weekly chakra meditation service on WhatsApp. It's only $14.40 a month. You can go to devotedandvulnerable.com/services to sign up for that. I also offer chart readings on that website at that same address, so you can go there. And if you just feel called to offer me a financial contribution out of the goodness of your heart and it feels aligned to you, you can do that at paypal.me/devotedvulnerable. Link is in the description. So we are going to be getting guidance from the Angel Therapy deck by Doreen Virtue. And we are ready to dive into what our spiritual support team wants us to know about the new beginnings we are starting in the next 6 months. So this reading is for you if the moon was in Scorpio when you were born, and or if this 2 degrees Scorpio new moon solar eclipse happens in your 8th house. If you haven't already taken a few deep breaths, called in your spiritual support team, and opened your heart to receive the guidance that's most aligned for you at this time, I invite you to do that. Pause the video if you need more time. And let's find out what card is here for you. All right, my beauties, for the next 6 months, new beginnings when it comes to visualizing success. See yourself doing well in the situation and have faith in a positive outcome. Yes, yes. So I'm going to get into what this means for the moon alignment. If you are here for the house alignment, just scroll ahead. All right, if you're familiar with the moon in Scorpio energy, you can scroll ahead to the interpretation, but I'm going to dive into what the moon in Scorpio represents here. So the moon represents our emotions, and the zodiac sign that it happens in represents how our emotions express. So your emotions express themselves through the Scorpion archetype. Now, if you guys didn't watch the solar season of Scorpio readings, please go and watch the moon reading for the solar season of Scorpio. So very important for you. Advice that came through was very powerful, and I just remember having so much love and compassion for you guys. So definitely go ahead and watch that, because as we're in the solar season of Scorpio, as this new moon solar eclipse is happening in your moon alignment, so much is being activated for you right now that I feel like you can use all the support you can get. Okay. So the Scorpio archetype is the Scorpion, as we've discussed, and it's this fixed, unchanging water emotions. So you may find in your emotional sphere that you're resourceful, passionate, magical, observant, and unyielding. Now, why is there a big cloud over the Scorpio in moon alignment? This is my new way of expressing what's called the... Hold on, let me check in and make sure I get the right one. Okay. Moon in Scorpio represents the fall. So, not fall the season. There's an exalted sign, which is like the highest pinnacle expression of a planet in a sign. And then there's the fall of that sign, which is the opposite of that. So the moon is exalted in Taurus. And because we're on this Taurus-Scorpio axis, they're opposites of each other. This means that Scorpio is in its fall when the moon is in its sign. So what this really means, and don't get discouraged by this, just be aware that this may be an area of your life where you struggle. Emotional energy may be a struggle for you. When something's in its fall, it means that it's at its like least powerful expression, which is interesting because you'd think the moon, which represents the emotions, in a water sign, which represent emotions, would be aligned. However, if we're looking at this fixed, unchanging energy, emotions need to change. They need to move. They need to express. Emotion literally means energy in motion. And so when it becomes fixed and unchanging, it's a less than optimal expression. What this means, simply, is that there's a challenge and an opportunity here for you. To know that your emotional sphere is potentially a difficult place for you to navigate. Which just means that going into your emotions, engaging with your emotions, being aware of your emotional sphere, and overcoming these. So like the signs that are what's called domicile in the sign that's ruled by an exalted, which is the highest expression, they don't have to work on this area of their life. The ones that are in what's called detriment and or fall, which is you, these signs just have to work more in this area. But the gifts also are higher and the reward is higher, right? The challenge is greater, so the reward is greater. So it may feel like you have a cloud and like a rain over your emotional sphere all the time, but you can also utilize this rain to nourish and grow things, right? So this is just an area of your life where there may be more struggle, but there also is many more gifts. Okay? Sometimes when something comes easy to us, we don't value it as much and we don't capitalize on the gifts that it has because we haven't had to work for it. You have to work for clarity and power in your emotional realm, and this is actually a gift to you once you've honored and recognized and worked with this vibration. Now, this is also influenced by what else is going on in your chart, how everything's relating to each other. So this may or may not be something that you feel, but I have been wanting to incorporate these different energies when I do these readings so that we can have a deeper understanding of the energies that may be in play. But again, as with everything astrologically, as with everything that I offer, your own interpretation, what's coming through for you as truth, is way more important than anything I could offer you and say, or anything that any astrological normal archetype energy could offer you. These are just concepts. They're just archetypes. They're just themes and patterns, and how you interpret them and how you work with them is always within your power, and you always know more about what's right for you than any of this information can ever give to you, but it can give you clues and insights into your own knowing and awareness. Okay, I think I'm done preaching. Let's get to how this relates to visualizing success. Okay. Yeah. So your emotions, in your emotional realm, it's so very important for you to move into the energy of already being success, to feel the emotion of what it feels like to already have this success prior to achieving it. So I'm going to share this with you because this is part of the Scorpio energy that I've been diving into for this eclipse phase. Last night, when I was meditating on this, and I knew I was going to offer this meditation for world peace, but I didn't quite know what it was going to be, turned into that prayer, that intention. I meditated last night on what it would feel like to see all of my human family cooperating with each other, loving each other, sharing selflessly with each other. And the beauty of it brought me to tears for almost an hour. I was just in such deep gratitude and joy, and it just felt so beautiful for me to emotionally put myself in this place of it's already here. What would it feel like? And to go there and to feel the beauty of it and to see the potential of it. And there's actually awesome science that's out there that does prove these things and is going to be more and more present and prevalent in our culture as we move forward through this age of Aquarius. And I'm bringing this up because this is what you need to do. It may not be humanity that you're visualizing success for. Okay, I don't want to get too much into that, but it's important for you to visualize success emotionally. It's important for you to feel into the emotions, the emotional reality of whatever it is that you're trying to achieve for this new moon solar eclipse phase, the next 6 months. Where do you want to be 6 months from now? What, like, can you imagine 6 months from now, May 2023, what it would feel like emotionally to have achieved and succeeded in the realm of whatever it is that you're working on right now? This is what you're being invited to, definitely on an emotional level, more than on just, this says visualize success, but I'm telling you to feel success. Feel what it would feel like and let yourself stay there. Let yourself be fixed there emotionally, right? My beautiful fixed emotions. Fixate yourself on the future reality of what it is that you're going to feel when you're in these emotions. Okay, I have gabbed on too long for this. It's time for me to let you know that where in your life this is going to be most relevant is going to be where that 2 degrees of Scorpio shows up, which house it shows up for you. So watch that reading, watch that interpretation. That is the place, the location in your life that this visualization of success is going to be most important for you. It can apply to all areas, but definitely for that area. Okay? If you have questions, let me know. If you have comments, please let me know. And as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors that universal light within you. Namaste. So if you're already familiar with the 8th house energies, you can scroll ahead to the card interpretation. We're going to give a little bit of a review for the 8th house energy here. So the 8th house is the house of transformation. It's ruled by Pluto and Scorpio. It deals with inheritance, so other people's money, magic, death, rebirth, and sexuality. Okay, so this is the area of your life that you're going to be visualizing success. Visualize success when it comes to receiving other people's money. Visualize success when it comes to whatever it is that you're rebirthing. Visualize success in your sexual realm. I try not to talk too much about the sexual world because it's uncomfortable for me. And I'm getting used to like discussing this subject in a public forum and way. But if there's a transformation that you've been wanting to achieve in their sexual realm, you've got to visualize success in this area. A big, huge shift that I made when I was using, I think it was a solar eclipse in Sagittarius in 2019, the end of the year. I set the intention with the solar eclipse that I was no longer going to be ashamed of my sexuality. And I visualized the success of that, and I felt it, and I imagined what that would be like. And boy, did the next 2 years really give me a education in that realm of my life and bring transformation, great death, and great rebirth in that area of my life. And I'm still exploring what it means to not be ashamed of my sexuality, not just my sexual intimacy, but also my femininity have been totally re-envisioned, re-experienced, and I've been invited into a whole new realm when it comes to my own sexuality, my femininity, and my intimate expression. Sex is a powerful, powerful energy. It is the energy that brings us closest to source because there's such a surrender that happens in the sexual realm. And there's such a transformation that happens with the exchange of energies and with the release that comes through sexual expression. So I don't want to spend too much time on this subject, particularly because this may not be the area of your life that the 8th house is really calling for transformation for you, although it may. The important thing is to visualize success. Maybe you want to be working with magic more, and maybe magic means miracles to you. Maybe magic's an uncomfortable term, or maybe occult is more friendly to you. Occult actually seems harsher than magic to me, but it's up to you. But this is the realm of being able to work with the energetic world and to be an alchemist. And so if you have goals when it comes to being able to use your words to create change in your life, to use spiritual tools such as gemstones and cards and using the elements, visualize success in this realm. And visualize success in rebirthing whatever it is that you are rebirthing at this time. This is just really aligned for you to be focusing on success in this area. And also remember your emotional advice, whatever that was for you. Wherever the moon was when you were born is also cluing you in to where you need to visualize success emotionally, to how you need to visualize success emotionally. Like, what is the emotions in play? What was your emotional guidance? That's going to also feed into this visualization of success for you. Now let's review what came through in the reading that was 6 months ago from the lunar eclipse in Taurus on May 16th of this year. At that time, I said that this advice was valid for an entire year because these eclipses are going to be happening again in 2023. So this energy is still overarching and relevant, but there's this new energy beginning with this solar eclipse that we're focusing on visualizing success. Okay, 8th house. You got the goddess calling you to focus every day on being a student, a teacher, and what's the third energy? The maiden, the mother, and the crone. So student, teacher, and I forget what the other one is, but maiden, mother, and crone. So nurturing something, learning something, and teaching something. I think those are the three. You also got the information about 10 of fire, which means that you needed to be asking for help for others in this area of your life. And that energy is still in play. So maybe for you, you feel like you've asked for help, you've received help, and you're good in that area. But it also may be that that's why this visualizing success is coming from. This will be something that will help you. And also just tapping into these energies of how can you learn something every day, how can you nurture something every day, and how can you teach something every day. Because utilizing those three is really healthy for you. It keeps you balanced. Okay, my beautiful 8th house, if you want to learn more about what that interpretation was, just go back and watch that reading, okay? Woo! Let me know if you have questions. Please comment. Let me know how this is resonating or not with you. And as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors that universal light within you. Namaste.